Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Thunderstorm. I'm Kaznarius, and with me is the Pork Chopper
Hi.
and the Nameless Guest.
Yo, what's up?
And today we're here again to talk about two wonderful shows. The second half of Gurren Lagann and the show Ascension from 2014. I started this series thinking that, hey, you're both at opposite ends in terms of likes of media, but we all kind of liked Childhood Zen by the end of our discussion.
Well, yeah.
It was a wonderful show. And Pork Chopper, you really liked Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Part 1. So, I guess we can just call the segment, haha, how much anime can we shove down Pork Chopper's throat until he's done with us?
Ah, for fuck's sake.
So, let's start with Ascension.
It's a sci-fi miniseries about a multi-generational spaceship voyage to another planet where humanity can live and whatnot. And it launched in like the 50s?
Yeah.
Something like that. So, it's pretty old culture-wise because there's only like 600 people total, so not much evolution goes on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with like a murder. The first murder in like years.
50 years.
Yeah, it's like,
I think it's just the first murder,
It's
actually.
the first murder.
the first murder total. I thought
Yeah.
there was at least one before.
You would think.
I was thinking
Yeah.
of the deaths in the fire.
Sure.
And then the XO of the ship starts investigating, and that leads him to learn things. And we eventually learn that the whole thing is a fucking lie. They're just in a bunker underground being told that they're flying through space, and it's a big prank by big government.
It's pretty funny, actually. It's a great prank.
Yeah, it's a social experiment, Kaz.
Yeah.
On paper, they're saying it's to, judge how well humanity could do this kind of spaceflight, but really it's to induce evolution for psychic powers, which was actually probably my least favorite part.
Yeah.
I kind of just liked that it was like this weird experiment where they were fucking with these people to like for scientific advancement. It was just really like immoral science. And then it went into like a psychic child thing, and I was kind of like, oh, I didn't really want that, but okay.
Yeah, I 120% agree with you. I think the idea of having these people in a crammed setting where something will inevitably go wrong is 1,000 times more interesting than, I don't know, the Star Child thing they were getting towards by the end. This didn't need to turn into magic sci-fi. Like, the idea of a murder with all these different characters that you're constantly seeing on screen being cooped up together is intriguing and a very enticing start to the series. Like, we're starting off on a negative here. But Nameless Guest, did you like the series? Let's start there.
I mean, I liked it, but it wasn't. It had a good premise. That's its strongest bit, is its premise. Both premises. Just like the murder mystery on the multi-generational spacecraft is good. And then, the twist, it's not
Yeah.
much of a twist. It really wasn't that surprising when it happened, that they're really in a bunker and it's a big experiment. Like, both of those are good premises that I like. But I felt it didn't do enough with them. I wasn't actually that compelled past the point of like, oh, the idea of this is cool. But I can't even remember a single character's name.
Yeah.
Because none of them were that interesting. There were a few that were good, but it wasn't like this character is great and super compelling or whatnot. Like the XO is just kind of like a generic protagonist guy for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of the secondary characters are kind of whatever.
Secondary.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same way, and like I would have been fine with the series even if like it ended on the reveal of that they were all living in a bunker. Like this whole escalation of like them trying to evolve humanity and, Stokes breaking out and all this stuff, like you didn't need that. Like your premise, it could have been compelling on its own, especially since like just all the time we spend with all these different characters. Like there's tons of time to make a genuinely compelling, interesting little murder mystery here. For me, that premise was hamstrung the second I found out that the person who killed Lorelai did so knowing where the cameras were. That pretty much nails that down on who it could be. So
The murder mystery basically just goes away at a certain point.
yeah,
You just learn that I don't forget what his actual position. He's not the doctor. He's the husband of the doctor.
the husband. Yeah,
But he's like
Yeah.
head scientist or something. And like you'll learn pretty early that he's the plant.
hmm
And at that point, obviously, if he's the plant, he's probably the killer. That's the most suspicious person. I think at that point, it basically just tells you he is anyway. I kind of forget exactly.
he does.
So that
yeah,
so that mystery is gone. What I would have preferred for the series would be that the EXO starts by investigating the murder, and by that he starts finding the inconsistencies and begins to unravel the truth about him being in the bunker.
Mhm.
And then people outside the bunker, the experimenters, are, they're seeing that he's figuring stuff out, and they're trying to do things to get in his way. And it'd be a fun little, he's trying to learn things, they're trying to stop him. Stokes would still escape. Maybe there's a scene at one point where Stokes gets out and he like bangs on the wall of the bunker to give them a clue because he's just crazy at that point and just does random stuff. It would be a plot convenience, but it would be an okayish plot convenience.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of
Yeah.
There's let's be real here. There's plenty of suspension of disbelief you need to go in. You need to have to go into this.
And a big issue, I'm just going to talk about its negatives a lot though, because they're easier to point out than
They are.
is that there was a lot of weird like politics going on in the ship, and I liked that. I enjoyed some of the politics stuff, but it was really irrelevant by the end. It was really just about this child who got psychic powers. These secondary characters, like the captain's wife and the captain, and their politicking and fighting. The captain's wife is Cylon number 6 from Battlestar Galactica, and that's the only thing that I can imagine. Like, just
Yeah,
like,
Trisha Helfer.
that's number 6. It's the only thing I can view it as, and that's why I think that this was not intended to be a miniseries. I think this was supposed to be like a full show.
Oh, that is made very clear that they
Yeah.
wanted to go for it. I mean that ending is like,
Yeah, no, the end
what's even going on? Like, come on.
The thing that's weird about it though is it originally aired as 3 episodes. Like it aired as a miniseries, but maybe they were intending to have like a second season.
What even happens at the end of the third episode?
Well,
No, like
Stokes
each
gets
of the
out?
6 episodes were 2 like hour, sorry, 2 like hour and a half.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was meant to. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
There's 3 episodes, each in 2 parts, so there's really 6 episodes.
I
It's
see.
kind of dumb, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I will say I do kind of have to disagree with you about the wife. I found that the head, oh gosh, what were they called? Stewardess? I'm gonna call her the
Yeah,
head
I think
stewardess.
so.
Like I found her to be like the most interesting person on the ship.
I didn't say that she wasn't interested.
Okay.
I said I actually liked the politics and the stuff
Yeah.
that they were doing, and she was one of the better characters in the whole show.
You just didn't like that it was irrelevant.
I just didn't like that it was completely irrelevant by the end. None of it mattered because it all just came down to Psychic Child that blew up like half the ship. Well, the electronics, but
Yeah.
still.
Funnily enough, I don't remember the Star Child from the first time that I watched the show. I remembered a very different ending
Really?
than what I ended up seeing the second time I watched it.
It does feel like it comes out of nowhere. But no, I do feel like if I watch this again, like the relationship between the wife and the captain would be so much more interesting because you start out like, she's cheating on the captain and like they seem to have a bit of animosity towards each other. But you realize like it's all political power plays, and it's all to get each other into better positions of power. And it
Yeah.
is actually a tactical cucking that is happening. And that is the only time I'm ever going to use that phrase. Uh, but there's an obvious theme of like classism here. Oh, those lower deckers. It's a little weird to me that racism isn't a thing, I guess. Like we have women in a lot of like or women in the show are usually portrayed as stewardesses, and yeah, there's like some are doctors, some are like terramorphers, they said. Oh my god, there's so many fucking characters.
The
The
doctor's
doctor's daughter wants to become like a terramorpher or some shit. It's weird to me that like the sexism of the 50s is still like relevant with like the stewardesses, but like racism was somehow solved, and then just kind of became classism. It seems like a little bit of a logical leap to me, but whatever. Like the thing about the show is like when I started like looking up what people thought about it online, it's like a lot of like, oh, it's so inconsistent that they're like the gravity doesn't work that way, and they don't realize that. Um, I feel like you could just CinemaSins this thing to Kingdom Come, and I don't think that's really fair when you look at the bigger picture. Because the bigger picture is like a neat concept of these people unknowingly trapped in this little experiment. Um, I just I just wish that the events in that experiment were, I don't know, more compelling to me. They didn't need an outside influence to get to the point where somebody murders somebody, I think.
Yeah, no, they easily like they could have avoided the whole bunker thing and
Yeah.
it just be a ship in space with these 600 people in it, and you could still make a pretty good story out of that premise. And you can make a good premise out of in the bunker too. Like
Yeah.
they had like good material there to work with. I just don't think they did that well with it.
Yeah.
It's also just because it's short, it ends on a cliffhanger. It was clearly intended to go longer. There's a lot of like character work, kinda, and like everything with the doctor's daughter, pretty much irrelevant. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She's not actually that important in the end. But she gets a lot of screen time. Her and her like boyfriend character, they get a lot of screen time, but none of them are like that important. Like the boyfriend character kind of realizes that there's something wrong with the ship when he sees Alf, not in Pog form. That doesn't go anywhere because the series goes nowhere. It was clearly cut short, and that's unfortunate because I actually would have liked to see where it goes a little bit. I don't know if it would be that good going forward, but it could.
I think with the Star Child sort of time travel going forward, I don't know.
Yeah,
Especially since the planet that it looks like they end up on is, well, I mean, it's obviously barren, but it looks like there's no life on it.
yeah. Well, they had like some kind of terramorphing esque stuff to try and like deal with that a little bit.
That's on the
Um,
ship though.
yeah, I know it's on the ship, but
Yeah, so it could be bunk. It could all just be bullshit.
no, they said the technology in the ship is real. One of the big things that they mention is that stuff like X-ray or MRI and stuff like that came from scientific advancements in the ship because they
Yeah,
took
all the
some of the
technology
brightest
on the
people on
ship
Earth.
is actually real.
Yeah,
I get that, but it's like the problem I have is like, what do engineers do? Like what problems do they fix on a ship that is not a ship?
my
You know? So I would ask the question like why, so with that it's like, okay, this is an irrelevant job that they probably have them, I don't know, they're probably creating problems for them to fix. Maybe.
That's what I
So
assumed, yeah.
so it's what like what do terramorphers do? Like is the science like actually useful to these people? Because I mean, it would assumedly be for when they get to this thing that they know they're never going to get to. So who's to say if it's bullshit or not?
Well,
Sorry.
yeah, the whole point is any advancements that they're making through like terraforming and all that are to help their future children. They're trying to improve the chances of survival when the people reach their destination.
They're also like any advances they make helps like science on Earth.
Yeah, on Earth. That's
Yeah,
true.
that
So I
one.
think the terramorphing that's probably most likely to help on Earth and shit like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of this
Okay.
was we're tricking these people in order to help ourselves and create a psychic child. Again, I really just that was so unnecessary.
Because some of us just get off to it.
It's-
That dude was
oh yeah, that
weirdly upset.
oh yeah, the like director guy. He was like in
Yeah.
love with the doctor and he married a woman who looks like exactly like her.
Yeah.
Oh man, he stole the necklace so he could give it to his wife so he could further roleplay basically. So weird.
It's so weird, and I kind of loved it actually.
No, it was great. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a very strange like character quirk that I'm glad he has.
This really would be the type of person who would be on this project in real life, though. It would be somebody obsessed with these people.
Well, yeah,
So-
when your whole life is like basically living and breathing everything that happens on that ship,
Yeah.
it makes sense that you're gonna be
Yeah.
drawn to those types of people.
I have a note here that just says, "Lol, is that Adam Jensen?"
It is.
Was that Adam Jensen?
Yeah, Elias Tufexis, I think is his name. That's the voice actor.
That's funny. I feel like half the male characters in the show just tried to do their best Adam Jensen impression. Like
That's typical in most sci-fi. Yeah.
do you know what I
unfortunately.
mean? Like the captain, like every time he talks, like, we need to get to the ship and we need to do all this shit. And it's like clearly this isn't your real voice. You're putting something
Yeah.
on to. I don't know.
A
The
lot
acting-
of sci-fi, especially TV sci-fi, it's either like a gravelly voice or like a raspy voice.
Yeah. Acting was hit or miss for me. But again, overall, fine. Serviceable. They did fine.
Yeah, it's weird. I remember this show being a lot better. I didn't dislike it. I did like it. I think
Yeah,
it is really cool.
of
But
course.
like for the ending, what I remember, I don't know how I remember this because it didn't happen. But I thought that I remembered the actual ship like disappearing, like it warps to the planet. I literally did not remember the Star Child at all. I had
I
a
guess
completely different ending in my head.
Pork Chopper was the one who evolved from watching this show, and he had a dream about the fucking ending.
Seriously, when they
That's
were in
funny.
the pool and the kids got like the electricity and stuff and it shocks the dad and the what the fuck's his name, Galt or whatever, fighting. I was like, what the fuck? I don't remember this shit.
Do you think that the story had any kind of message to it? Do you think it had any kind of big thing it was trying to say?
I don't know. I think that because it feels like the beginning chapters kind of thing, it didn't get into its message too much.
I feel like if you look at surface levels, there's probably a lot of different messages you can pull from
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah,
as far as
there
what
is.
the deeper meaning of the show is, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Because you
think-
can look at like classism, you can look at
Yeah.
like the theme of not trusting the government and shady shit like that, or how we've come to our technological and medical advancements through war or potentially actual experiments like
Yeah.
this. I mean,
Human
shit like that, yeah.
suffering and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something there, but I feel like that whatever that message is, it does get muddled in so many things happening all at once.
I think one of the problems is they kind of focus so much on a lot of red herrings to try and make it so that the Star Child was, like a big surprise. But that kind of twist was just handled. It was like really badly jumbled that a lot of the story, a lot of the narrative is just unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I got was eugenics good.
Maybe that's the real racism, though. Actually, how many black people are on that ship?
You know what else is good?
High key though.
When someone takes your job and they're gonna destroy your life, just push them over the railing and pretend that they had an accident.
Yeah. Moving on to Gurren Lagann Part 2. Pork Chopper, what happens in Gurren Lagann Part 2?
How do I summarize this?
I got you. Row, row, comma, fight the power.
Dude, that fucking thing kept coming on for every commercial break. Like, holy shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
I love the art for those.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, all the art for like the commercial break splash screens are great.
Oh yeah, they're so good.
Anyway, Pork Chopper, try your best to tell us all about Gurren Lagann Part 2.
Honestly, it's the same way I would describe the first one, where every episode some crazy shit happens and they find a new thing to fucking put the Gurren Lagann like transforming with, and they just keep getting bigger and badder every episode until they basically can like destroy the entire universe.
Yeah, they are literally the size of like multiple universes by the end.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
They're fighting. They're standing on top of a galaxy. Some guy's throwing galaxies at shuriken. It's awesome. I love.
It was genuinely cool, man.
Yeah, no, it's great. Pork Chopper, would it surprise you if I said in the movie, the mech gets even bigger?
Actually,
It's so fucking big.
You don't. Okay, so since obviously you just watched it, you don't have to watch the whole second movie since it's basically the same plot. But watch that final fight of the second movie. It's pretty sick.
All right, yeah, I'll have to watch that because like the actual fight that was already there was pretty nuts.
Oh yeah, no, the final episode, that whole fight. Honest, everything in like the last like 4 episodes is like solid gold.
Oh yeah,
Actually, though. So,
Okay, but let's dial it back to some of the earlier episodes. I guess just Future City.
I wanted to. The first thing I wanted to say about this part of the series is that this was the half where like the side characters really shined. Obviously, that was immediate with Rossiu coming into his own as a dickbag. That's a lie. Rossiu literally did nothing wrong.
Listen, for like the first half of the second part, I fucking hated Rossiu until I understood what he was actually trying to do and why.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this piece of shit.
Yeah, how could he? But no,
Yeah.
and the obvious, irony of it is that he was doing exactly what his village elder was doing. It was
Yeah,
all
exactly.
population control and to try and calm down the masses and, taking people out from around homes so that he could properly get the census of how many people were on Earth.
Yeah, like I at first I thought like he was just doing all of this shit to get power and that he was an asshole. And then I understood like he's doing this because he genuinely believes this is the best way to move forward. He's not just doing it to be a dick.
Yeah, one thing that I like is that like early on a lot of characters are angry at Rossiu, but generally they all began to understand what he is doing, and they all to a point go like, I agree, you are doing like the most pragmatic, best action for humanity, and we'll let you do that, that's fine. But we're also going to go off and try to break the limits of reality and win.
Yeah.
Because
that's what we fucking do.
Because that's what Team Gurren does.
That's how Team Gurren rolls.
Like,
yeah, man.
Like, no one really blames Rossiu. Simone, like, has full faith in him. Even while in jail, he has full faith in Rossiu. And I like that. I like that whole thing. It's great.
Yeah.
In the show, Rossiu, when he tries to kill himself because of all the shit that happens, Simone comes and punches him. I like in the movie, they have Kion, like the girl that likes Rossiu, she slaps him instead. They don't have Simone do that. And I like that I like that in the movie. It's like Simon didn't have to be the one. Rossiu has people there for him that aren't like the main character. The main character doesn't need to do everything.
That's true. That's certainly
Yeah, that's
true.
a
It
good
was
point,
it was
actually.
obviously trying to emulate the Kamina punches Simone thing.
Yeah, no,
and it's not the
obviously.
same.
Not the same dynamic.
It's not the same dynamic, and it's not the same circumstances.
So that's one change I definitely like in the movie.
Yeah. So let's talk about those earlier episodes. So we got Simone going to jail. Congratulations, you were kind of right. She was fucking Nia. Nia was kind of a cyborg or like a robot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Winner, chicken dinner,
I mean,
I guess.
I guess you're right, but her previous personality had nothing to do with the fact that she is kind of a robot.
Yeah.
I was still right.
Her previous personality was just being like ultra naive, and she still was.
Yeah.
Even after 7 years, she's still a complete idiot. The anti-spirals and all their stuff. Their ships start off really weird. The Mugans are like really like these strange geometric crap.
Yeah.
And then they later turn into like statues-esque things, like big stone faces and stone hands and feet.
Yeah, almost like an asteroid with just like a bunch of faces in it at one point.
Yeah.
Like their design changes, and I'm not really sure what it's supposed to represent, but I guess they're going up, and it's to demonstrate their change in power. They've gone up to having faces, and apparently that makes you powerful.
Apparently.
As shown previously in the show.
More faces, good.
Yeah, more faces,
Yeah, man.
definitely good. I like that Yoko got a win this season.
Yeah.
I liked the Yoko episode where it's like, yeah, you were just the support character in the first season, but now it's like, you're trying to live this other life, and you're trying to like teach the new generation of like free humans how to live and stuff like that, and like foster ideas. And then she just like she fucking kills 2 gunmen fucking single-handedly. It's fucking badass.
Yeah, that episode was great.
Yeah, it's again, Rossiu shines in the season. Yoko definitely shines in the season. Keaton's the big one. Keaton goes from like this guy who's like, he tries to be the leader, but it doesn't really work out, to like this protective uncle who's just kind of a badass on his own, who like understands that he still will never be the leader. Fuck it. Like, he's got spiral energy too. He's gonna just be the most badass person he can be. When he goes towards like a giant, like, triangular hedron fucking robot with only a shotgun, like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, that was badass.
Fucking sick.
Yeah, this half of the show brings Keaton from an okay like side character. His whole character was effectively being Diet Kamina.
Yeah.
And then this brings him to like top tier character in the show. He's like, if someone told me your character was Keaton, I'd be like, that is completely justified, and you're right, kind of thing. All the side characters get like good stuff like that. Even like a lot of Team Gurren, like they all die, but they all die being base.
Yeah.
Yeah. They die being like fucking legends.
Yeah.
The 2 dumbass brothers go out just like laughing at the end.
As they blow up and their
Yeah.
sunglasses explode.
Yeah.
But yeah, none of them beat Keaton's death sequence. Keaton's death sequence is...
That was sick.
It's like... It's probably like my favorite moment in the whole show.
Yeah. It's tied for Kamina's death for me, but it's... Fuck, man. Just... There's nothing I could say that would do justice for this fucking scene. It's just like, you really came into your own, and you went out fucking protecting everyone, doing a thing that nobody else, like, going on a suicide mission so that everyone else could make it out alive. And then he does a fucking giga drill break which you would like. Oh, that's like Simone's thing. Only the main character can do that. No, fuck it. Spiral energy, anything's possible. It's so fucking cool. Oh my god. With the fucking song in the back, "Let Bury Me from Hell."
Yeah, no. It's fantastic. His final words just going like, "Spiral power, eh? Okay, I'm impressed."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's such a cool line to go off of. This entire podcast is just us gonna be gushing about the end of Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, like, of course, because it's great. But Keaton's badass, Yoko's badass. Viral comes into his own this season, of course, too.
I was surprised a lot that his character took that kind of turn. It was cool to see, though.
Yeah, one of my favorite things ever is like the rival character joins up, because that's what Viral was. He was kind of like a rival character for Kamina, and like continued to have that a little bit with Simon throughout the rest, but he wasn't that relevant after Kamina died. But in this, he's the rival character, and now he's taking like Kamina's spot, and he's being awesome. He does like the stupid like intro lines with Simone.
Yeah.
About like, join forces with your enemy and smash destiny or something.
Yeah. All this despite not having spiral energy. Pretty badass as well.
This is definitely kind of true more in the movies. It feels like he, even though he's not supposed to, it feels like he basically gets spiral energy in the final battle. That's more of like a movie thing because they do more in that battle, but he's definitely, there, and he does, like, in that final battle, all the characters get to do something with Tengen Toppa, Gurren Lagann. Like, Vero pulls out his swords, Yoko pulls out her gun. It's great. It wasn't just the Simone show.
Yeah, which it was, and when you really compare that to the first season, it's like, really all that matters is just Simone and Kamina. Nia's there to push Simone to be better, and Yoko is just support. And all these side characters, they're there, but they don't really matter. And it's so cool that in less episodes than the first half, they make them matter. And they're all awesome.
Even like dumb little characters, like the guy that fires all the weapons.
All the weapons! Yeah. Fire the main cannons!
I think his name is Attenborough or something.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a minor character, but he's great. Anytime he's on screen, he just pushes the button immediately.
I had to laugh last time when we were going through the first part of the season, when you were saying, one of the things you hate about anime is when they over-explain things, and we're just supposed to sit there and take it. And there is a scene with Leron explaining what spiral power is, and all the other characters are just completely zoning out and just do not give a shit.
There's a few times where somebody will explain something and they basically are like, "Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?" They have to like dumb it down.
And that's the point of it, right? It's like, why are they able to go to the 10th or 11th dimension? Don't get lost in the details. We're Team Gurren and we're gonna kick some fucking ass, even if it's impossible. And so, going through this, you might have found more and more parallels between this and Childhood's End.
If you view the anti-spiral as Corellan and whatnot.
Yeah. No, I guess they technically do have a good reason for doing what they're doing.
Well,
yeah. They don't actually they dislike the anti-spirals and they want to stop them because they want, freedom and whatnot. But they do understand the reasoning. And at the end, like, the anti-spiral, when he loses, he's just like, if this is the way it has to be, make sure you protect the universe. And Simon says, of course we will.
Yeah.
The anti-spiral admits that he's lost and will go like, okay, now it's your job. I did my best. You didn't like that. You stopped me. So now you have to do it.
Yeah. And then he's basically saying, like, humanity's not that stupid, which we actually are, but those are cool.
Yeah. It's a cool line.
Oh, we are absolutely not stupid.
It's definitely wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
The anti-spirals are kind of right. I actually don't trust humanity and the other spiral races to use their power responsibly.
Yeah,
But
it is funny comparing this show as a whole to Childhood's End, where it's like with this show, it's one series of oppressors over another, constantly building up to stop something bad that they perceive from happening. And in Childhood's End, it's Corellan's race coming to Earth because we found interplanetary travel to prevent us from something bad happening. And it's it's also kind of funny that there are other parallels you can make towards both shows, and yet one of our main lines we looked at last time was, humanity wasn't meant for the stars.
Yeah.
That Arthur C. Clarke would view the technological achievement of going to the moon as probably an inherently bad thing, and that, like, what have we wrought, and how, like, what are the consequences of this? And Gurren Lagann's response to, like, the moon landing or something like that would probably be like, fuck yeah, we did it, and fuck yeah, we're gonna keep winning and just go even farther, and we're just gonna keep winning forever. So yeah, it's I feel like it's similar things with different thesis statements.
Yeah, I have to wonder if when coming up with Gurren Lagann, especially the fact that they literally called the movie Childhood's End, I have to wonder if they had actually read the book and that was some kind of like inspiration to do a sort of opposite version of that story. Because there's a lot that you can sort of extrapolate between the two.
It's hard to say.
yeah, I'm not sure what the exact, like, I mean, Gurren Lagann is obviously Japanese, so who knows if they were reading an English book. Like that. Obviously, there's some English literature is still quite large in Japan.
Yeah.
Childhood's End, I think, would still, like, to the normal person, would be pretty relatively unknown.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the first movie is called Childhood's End because it literally is just like the childhood section, and it's kind of a nice coincidence for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a direct. It's funny how many parallels you can find, but
well, yeah.
I don't think they were actually inspired by it.
I do have another connection that I wonder, like, there's so many coincidences that I kind of wonder if it's inspired by it. Just the song, like, Row Row Fight the Power. There's all these themes of, like, oppression and, like, overcoming oppressors in Gurren Lagann. And when I looked up, like, the original meaning of just fight the power, it was from that movie we watched a long time ago, Pork Chopper. There was a song called "Fight the Power" in fucking "Do the Right Thing."
Oh yes,
and it's a little rap song about oppression between people of color in America and the police. And just listening to that song and the way they say fight the power, I don't know, between, like, that, the themes of oppression and Gurren Lagann, and, like, the fact that they're both rap songs and the way they say it, I wonder if, like, the person making the song was influenced by that. That I could be looking at nothing here. Whatever. Am I saying that Kamina and Simone coming up from the underground is an analog for the problems of people of color in America? Of course not. But I think maybe when they were looking at oppression and, like, stories of rising against oppression, maybe this movie from this relatively popular movie from the 1980s inspired them. Could be just me, just a little thing I found. Thought it was a neat thing, so I brought it up.
Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is really big.
Fuck yeah, dude!
He's really big. I really like it.
Anyway, fuck all that other shit. It's really big. Oh man, Pork Chopper. What do you think? I always ask the question. What do you think's the main message of Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann? Now that you've seen both seasons.
I mean, it's it's another one of those things where there's a lot of different messages you can pull from it.
Sure.
Like the obvious one is sort of that classic phrase, you can do anything if you put your mind to it, right? And you can be anyone if you try hard enough. And that's literally what Simone does throughout the entire show.
I do think that is inevitably the main thesis statement of the show. Like right from episode 1, Kamina is telling Steam to kick logic and do the impossible. Like it's really like it's all about the perseverance of the human race fucking doing things that we thought previously could never be done. Again, insert a million different, the moon landing, flying machines, technological advancements. I think that's really the spirit of the show. And, is that the most nuanced message on planet Earth? Of course not. But, for what it is, I think it's incredibly potent and not any less, worthwhile to think about just because, it is that simple. But yeah, I think it is really just that simple. Stop thinking about the odds. Just work towards a dream that you think is impossible. And, just go for it, man.
Yeah, and believe in the me that believes in you.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, no, the show is definitely like a never give up regardless of obstacles kind of thing. Although,
absolutely,
with the idea of the spiral nemesis in the end, there's definitely you do have to limit yourself in some capacity, because spirals left unchecked will, literally destroy the universe. So there is like some level of self-restraint that you can't just go wild.
Yeah, kind of like Icarus in the sun.
Yeah. But it's like, regardless of what's put in front of you, outside forces shouldn't stop you, but you should know yourself when to stop.
Yeah.
Like, Simone at the end doesn't bring Nia back. He can do it.
Mm-hmm.
In the context of
that's true. Yeah.
In the context of the show, it would be, he is setting the boundary. He is saying that using spiral power to bring someone back is bad. Because if he brings Nia back, then
death has no meaning.
Someone's going to want Keaton to come back.
Yeah.
Someone's going to want the twin dumbasses to be brought back.
And then why not? Kamina's back. Fuck it. Let's just keep going.
That is the abuse of the spiral power that will lead to the spiral nemesis.
Yeah, so, he even says, if we bring everyone back, there won't be any room for new people to come.
Yeah, of course.
So there is like a level of you need to regulate yourself to some extent. That's not like a core message, but I guess that's like a caveat to the never give up regardless of obstacles kind of thing, is that, there is a limit, but that limit is of your decision.
Mm-hmm.
You come up with that limit.
Yeah, sort of check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Just as basically.
Of course, yeah. Just to sort of go off of that, I think what the show is also trying to say, especially with the first 2 episodes of the season, is that, all this gusto and spiral power and motivation, that is like one half of societal evolution. The other half is the Rossiu half, where you need restrictions and rules, and you do need the people on Team Gurren, like Liron, the gay engineer who looks after your shit and will explain to you and will explain the numbers to you, even if you don't understand them. And people like that are necessary are obviously necessary for evolution and going towards an impossible dream. But it all starts with an idiot saying, I want to go to the moon. It all starts with, I want to fly in the sky like a bird.
I want my drill to pierce the
heavens. I want my fucking drill to pierce the heavens, man!
No. It's my drill creates the heavens now.
Yeah!
That's the end of it. Yeah. It's not where it starts, but that's where it ends.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool line to throw out there.
It is a cool line. It's also really dumb.
Yo, yeah.
Like, it barely makes sense, but it's so cool.
Look, man, like, again, communist lines that make almost no sense in the beginning are just, like, in hindsight, words of a fucking learned scholar, my guy. Fucking awesome.
So I was also right about the person you see at the beginning of the first episode in the future.
Yes.
That was Simone.
Yes, you were. Even if they weren't saying the same lines.
It's kind of a weird one because in that opening thing, he has the evolved Buta next to him. But Simone and evolved Buta are never actually in the same scene together.
Wow, retcon. Lol.
I don't
the
know.
whole series is shit.
I'm just saying that it's kind of a
It is weird.
I was expecting after he leaves Rossiu in charge of like the world to be like the sort of leader, I thought that that's when you would see that scene from the first episode, and like that's what he goes to do is he like flies around and shit, and I guess maybe goes to different planets or whatever. But that didn't happen, so it was weird that it kind of changed.
Yeah, in the movie, he has a better motivation for just staying on Earth and being like a weird drill hermit, and that's like Nia wanted to like revitalize the planet and like plant like flowers everywhere.
Okay.
So he decides like that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make her dream come true. So he like I think at the end of the movie he like drills a well for a town, and you know he's helping out throughout Earth and being a generally good guy. And while he's probably like the most powerful person on Earth, he's not abusing that power in any way. He's doing it with good intentions and whatnot.
You know, one thing I would have liked to see in the show was more of what happened in the 7-year gap. Because like you see Yoko, but her sort of story starts after 6 years. You don't see anything that happened before that, other than the fact that she left at the beginning of the 7-year period.
Yeah, I guess they didn't want to talk about it too much since a lot of it would be just kind of boring administrative, you know, just setting up the city and setting up laws. And
I guess, yeah.
This is a show about big robots with big faces punching each other.
Yeah.
It's not a show about the legal and administrative process.
I think it's also because they built that massive city in 7 years, and they built this whole civilization, which is insanely fast. And maybe they were like, "Yeah, how the fuck do we show that happening in 7 years?"
That's probably why they didn't touch that. They probably cared far more about just dealing with the anti-spirals and stuff. That's obviously a lot more interesting. There could have been maybe some interesting things about, you know, dealing with the remnants of the Beastmen. Because you see Beastmen living in Communist City. So, like, a lot of them just, you know, joined humanity. And others are in jail because they couldn't let go of their previous bullshit. And we didn't talk about Spiral King.
Yeah.
He comes back and he's great. At the end when he sacrifices himself to turn into a giant drill. Like, I don't know, it's a cool way to use that character. It doesn't necessarily redeem what he did, but he's just like, you know what? I think you guys have a chance and I want to join in.
You know, another thing I did not expect was Buddha, the little like fucking thing, having insane amounts of like spirit energy and just powering the fucking Gurren Lagann for Viral.
Hey man, he's been there from the start.
Yeah, apparently like guy's a fucking powerhouse.
Yeah, he's one of our three first main characters.
Anti-Spiral's cool.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Just becomes a robot that looks and acts and has the same power as Tengen Toppa, Gurren Lagann, so that he can inflict as much despair as possible.
Yeah. He shoots a big bang at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his big mistake. You know, he could have just killed them instead of fucking losing.
No, it's not about killing them. It's about completely crushing them so that other spiral races in the galaxy fucking stop trying to rise up against him.
Yeah, well, they fucking spiraled right through his chest.
Yeah.
And despite the anti-spirals, they act like they're like such high reason kind of thing. He's fucking pissed at the end. Like he is angry and just wanted to hit them with a big fucking blast. And even this like end game like super logic kind of boss, he still names his super move Big Bang Infinity Storm.
That's good shit.
Yep.
So it's time to wrap this up. Soon enough, we'll be back at you having Pork Chopper watching a new anime, and we'll be watching something else that he recommends that doesn't have a fucking ending. I have been Kaz Narius, and with me has been the Pork Chopper.
We'll see you later.
And the nameless guest.
Bye.
I hope everyone likes High School DxD. See you later, everybody.